Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. We come to you every Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock right here on AM 590, The Answer. Well, I've had a very, very busy week this week, folks. My name is Opal Singleton. I'm the host of your show. And we were very, very blessed to be able to one more time get to be the statewide code enforcement instructor for human trafficking and social media exploitation, and also CSAM, which is child pornography rings. And these code enforcement people, they really know what they're doing. They meet in really nice places. In this case, it happened to be up in Tahoe. And it was great to be with them. You know, I know code enforcement gets a bad name if you're trying to do construction or something like that, but these are really incredible people that want the best for our society and actually want the best for families and kids. And so it was, in fact, a pleasure to be with them. We also have some new news before we get into our show today that I want to share with you. Most of you that have followed us, and by the way, I've met this last couple of weeks, I've met some just incredible people that say they follow our show and never miss it, and even recognize me by my voice. I must have a strange voice. I keep thinking I'm going through puberty or something. It's all kind of odd that they were saying how much they appreciated the show and how much they appreciated staying informed about what is happening in the world of human trafficking and social media exploitation. And so it's been an interesting time. One of the things that has happened, and I'm just over the moon excited, many of you know that follow our organization, Million Kids, millionkids.org, that for the past 4 years, we have worked on raising the funding and selecting a producer to create what I thought was going to be a 45-minute documentary for schools. I would have been perfectly happy to have a basic documentary that we could take into schools. But an organization called Giving University came alongside of us and said, how about we make a full-length feature film for the parents first and include the documentary for the kids, because this is a parent problem. The documentary I wanted to create is on the subject of sextortion. And sextortion, if you're new to the show and you don't know, it's a combination of the words sex and extortion. And basically, in a world that is completely connected by internet, this is really based on the idea that 2021 is the year that the entire world will be connected by internet. And it isn't just that you have the entire world connected by internet, but technology's changed. For instance, you no longer have technology that is just, a small little group of people that you know. These technologies on worldwide gaming, such as Fortnite, is what we call mass audience live streaming. When your child gets in a video game, they're going to be on there with literally hundreds and thousands of people they have never met. And they're going to develop relationships because in a video game chat room, they're now mostly live streamed. If you have Discord or PS5 or PS4, they live stream right into your home. Your entire living room or their bedroom or wherever they're playing is exposed online to, literally lots of other people. And they will create relationships with people they've never met. And one of the concerns I've had over the last few years is the fact of what is being done to help kids understand what it's like to build a relationship with someone that you cannot validate who they are, what they stand for, what their intent is for your life. And more important, this person can reach back to you at any given time. And as you begin to understand how that takes place, you also understand that relationships online are quite a bit different than a relationship with someone that you can see down the street. In fact, we now have things like TikTok and Byte and Like. All of those are apps where you literally go online and you make a video with the idea that you want it to go viral. Now, you can be on TikTok and be in a private mode, and some kids are or say they are, but it isn't hard to go into the public mode with your profile. And you shoot that video out there, and it literally can go to millions of people. It is not uncommon for many TikTok followers to have, or video producers to have 2 million, 5 million followers. Some of them have 25 million or 40 million. So our kids are going to live in a world without borders that reaches millions of people they will never know anything about. But more important, that technology allows that viewer to text back to your child. So it is two-way communication with millions of people. And so, with that in mind, one of the things that's happening is that we have reached an absolute epidemic, a pandemic, I would be willing to say, of victims of sextortion, meaning where they get involved, they start to think they really like that person, or that they think that person is somebody that they may not be. And the next thing you know, they're starting to send back and forth kind of questionable kinds of communication that will ultimately end up with probably a nude photo. In fact, Thorn, that is Thorn, that is Ashton Kushner's organization, who I have a lot of respect for, by the way, has a lot more money than I do, and he's using it wisely, and he's one of those Hollywood people that I respect and appreciate what he's done. But he has an entire organization that helps combat child pornography and social media exploitation. He has a lot more money than Million Kids, by the way. But he did some research that I want to quote. He's saying that that they've spent the last 3 years understanding directly on how kids are experiencing issues like sending nude photos or sexting, meaning that they're sexting provocative types of things, as well as what motivates their online behaviors. And we found three current key learnings. One of their key learnings, and I could have written this myself. I'll tell you, I didn't do a research study. I just live in my world, but it's happening younger than most of us think. 40% of teens think it's normal for people their age to share nude photos with each other. And it goes on to say online relationships have different boundaries. Many kids are having online sexual interactions with people they believe to be their peers and adults at about the same rate, meaning 40%. And then the third one is shame is the biggest obstacle to seeking help. More than half of kids and parents mostly or exclusively blame the child in the photo when nudes are leaked. Additionally, 58% of parents admit that they don't feel prepared if their child were to have a nude photo leaked. So it was fascinating to me when I read that. I certainly could have written that myself just based on my experience of sitting with parents and listening to stories and seeing kids that are deep in because they've sent a photo. I would like to add one more statistic to that, and that is that from the University of Toledo, Ohio research that says 58% of kids who send a naked photo will go out and meet up with their predator or their pedophile trying to negotiate back that photo before they will ever tell a parent or a law enforcement officer. And so those numbers are absolutely huge when you think about the fact that if you have a nude photo, a naked photo online, or even one that's somewhat provocative, and you are being sextorted or blackmailed, it will change your life forever. And I'm going to go so far as to tell you that it will change the family's life forever, because this is deep, deep shame, and it's on a basis that most people have not thought through. In other words, they're saying they blame the person. Teens will blame other teens for sending that naked photo, even though that teen that's blaming may be at fault themselves. We have a tendency to judge and shame other people. But when you are experiencing sexual shame long before you've even experienced experience an adult sex act, then it will change your self-perception for the rest of your life and make you much more likely to be violated. My name is Opal Singleton. This show is Exploited Crimes and Technology. We are against a break, so stay with us. We're going to be right back.
Listen up, folks. You no longer have to drive out of the IE for a great restaurant experience. The Toasted Barrel, an upscale casual steakhouse located in Corona, has been winning award after award for their great diverse menu, service, ambience, wine, and cocktails. Customers call the Barrel the perfect date night. Inland Empire magazine has awarded them Best Restaurant 4 years in a row. Wine Spectator recognized the Toasted Barrel's wine program for their award of excellence. Toasted Barrel is famous for their certified Angus beef, prime, Wagyu, and Kobe steaks, and they have some of the best pasta and seafood around. With happy hour and daily specials every day of the week, their appetizers and drink selections are the best around. Live music starts every Friday and Saturday at 5:30. Planning a dinner party, wedding rehearsal, family gathering, or holiday party? Look up Toasted Barrel online and make your reservation today.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. I want to tell you about a book I wrote called Seduced, The Grooming of America's Teenagers. It's all about how predators access, groom, recruit, and exploit our young people using social media, online gaming, video chat rooms. Technology is changing at the speed of light, and we have to understand how to keep our kids safe from predators. So you can get this book by going to www.millionkids.org. It's $16. I'll sign it and I'll ship it to you personally. We hope that you will order this book, educate yourself about how to keep our kids safe in this day of changing technology. Join us each Saturday for our radio show at Exploited Crimes and Technology at 3 o'clock on AM 590, The Answer.
Real estate sales in the Inland Empire are really hot. Sellers and buyers recognize that these low interest rates will not last. Sean and Colleen at Caldwell Banker Armstrong Properties in Riverside are proud to sponsor this show. They are the best in the Inland Empire. They're fair, honest, creative, and they care about you and your situation. If you're in the market to buy or sell a home, call Sean and Colleen at 951-529-4066.
AM 590, The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton, and we are talking about literally why character matters online and how all of this works. And before we actually get into that, what we were talking about is a film that I have long dreamed of making. And as it turned out, several people came alongside with me and kids. And about 18 months ago, it's been a long time coming because of COVID, we decided to interview different producers and select a producer and start the filming process. Well, boy, was that an eye-opening experience, I'll tell you that. I mean, what do I know about Hollywood and what do I know about making a film? And so I will say that I spent some time on my knees in prayer about, okay, God, if you want this done, you better make the connections because I don't have a clue. Anyway, we got very, very fortunate in that we met a young man by the name of Stephen Peek, P-E-E-K. And Stephen is a producer. He's actually one of the top documentary producers in the United States, especially for working with Netflix. And so last year, the film was funded, and it was in partnership with Giving University, who is a philanthropic group that came alongside of us. And I'm so very, very grateful for them because this is far beyond anything me and kids could have ever dreamed of. But as a team of the three of us, we got busy, and I flew back to Virginia because one of the good things that happened is that we picked a producer out of California because of COVID and the Screen Actors Guild, but we really picked him because of his capabilities. And as we did that, we realized that he was located near Homeland Security and National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And we made all the introductions. And over the past year and a half, Stephen and his wife, Masha, is the co-producer of this. started to create this film, and it is exciting. It is not yet released. There are a few of us that have seen it. There's still work to be done on it. It will release February 8th in 2022. And I'm going to tell you, I am so excited about it. We were one of the few people that got to see it. And to see it have come full circle, even though it's been a long wait, is just very, very exciting. The film, the long form film, which was done by the other group that invested in this, is all about really headed towards parents. But it's an action film based on a case of Daniel Harris, who was a good-looking Navy pilot. And so it's an excellent movie. Stephen has done a great job. Now, we can't show it to anybody yet until February 8th because we're in negotiations. It takes time to release a film and get it out with the live streaming and there's now interest in the film, not only by various film festivals, but also by international film festivals, because sextortion is a global problem. First of all, your child may be talking to somebody in Kenya or Australia or London. Many of our cases, the perpetrator is out of our country. In many of our cases, also, the victim or the perpetrator that is doing that is in the United States, might be right here in California, and they are violating young people all over the world. And so it is a world without borders. That is the reason for the book that I've written, Societal Shift, A World Without Borders, A Home Without Walls. That is exactly what is happening. Something like 85%, I think I want to say 83% of kids sleep with their phone. And so that means that they are vulnerable all the time from all over the world. And so this movie will be released on February 8th on Internet Safety Day. And we are working in conjunction with some very large names to make sure that it gets out to millions of people around the world. So I just want to put you on notice that if you're one of the people that invested in this film, it is coming and you will be proud. I just cannot wait for the day that it actually releases. But we have a lot of work to do in the meantime. We want to take that film and work with schools, cut it into 2 classroom settings, and we are working right now to build websites and supporting documentation and like that for the education community around the world. Homeland Security actually shut down a building for us, and it was partially filmed inside Homeland Security in Washington, D.C. They had never done that before. And we're very fortunate because Homeland Security is connected to many schools. And so we're hoping that this gets exposed to schools all around the U.S., if not all around the world. So we're really excited. I want you to continue to pray for it and stay posted with us. If you don't receive Million Kids announcements, please go to millionkids.org, sign up for the newsletter and the insider alerts so that you can stay posted on it. We are very, very busy right now. First of all, we have so many cases that we don't normally have, but on top of it, this is very exciting to get ready that we can literally reach millions of people with our message. Well, what I wanted to talk about today kind of relates to that, because I am always looking at the situation with sextortion and say, what can we do differently to make this a better situation? Because a lot of this is happening because our kids are online. And that's going to happen. We're way past the point of saying, you're never going to touch technology. I mean, our schools are putting our kids on in 1st and 2nd grade. So what we have to do is talk about how to do this wisely. But one of the things that I wanted to talk about today that I think makes a big difference is, as I've looked at the state of the world as it is today around the world, and I will tell you that I am concerned about the state of our world, I realize that the bottom line is I come back to how do you teach a young person to use technology wisely? But it's even more basic in that. And that is why character matters, especially in a digital world. And I want to just kind of explore those thought processes with you over the rest of this show. Because as I've done this, the one thing that I've seen, I mean, you can hog tie your child and put a bag over their head and bury their phone in the sand. But as soon as the child gets back into the real world, where they may be able to reach somebody else's technology, they are going to make decisions. And I have come to the conclusion that it really is about a conversation about having character in a digital world. Because you can't, I mean, apps are not good or bad. You'll often hear me say technology isn't good or bad. In fact, we're just getting started. Where we're at today, your kid probably in 2 years will have 5 million followers of people they don't know, and they are going to be exposed to virtual reality. Augmented reality, virtual reality pornography. Most of your video games have pornography in them. And kids will tell you what they do online does not count, because they will tell you that sex isn't sex and, killing isn't killing. I get that. But it still affects who you are as a person. I think some of you have heard me say, I had one church group that said, that sin on the internet was not sin because it wasn't real. And it is that line of thinking that makes a child vulnerable to exploitation, because they're willing to try things out. They're willing to talk to people. They're willing to send things. They want to believe the unbelievable. They want to take chances in ways that will cost them their future. And so for me, we can teach them etiquette online, but it really isn't the technology that's bad. You'll often hear me say, you can take a car and you can drive it off to a church and have a wonderful experience, or you can take it down to the strip club and get yourself in deep trouble. It is not the car. It is the decisions the driver makes while in the car. And that is true of online exploitation. So I really believe that character matters in a digital world. And before your child gets a device, even at school, I think that it is important for parents to start to talk about how character presents itself by people that you are interacting with on the internet, and also how you interact and how they perceive you. Every one of those will determine whether or not you're a candidate for exploitation. This is Opal Singleton. I'll be right back. Thank you.
Societal Shift, A World Without Borders and a Home Without Walls. This is the most important book you will read this year, especially if you have children or grandchildren. We are living at the most important time in all of history. In 2020, the entire world will be connected by internet, more than 6 billion people coming together. Technology will provide many great advantages for our kids, but a world without borders for our kids is also a world without borders for pimps, predators, pedophiles, cartels, and organized crime. It is a home without walls because 87% of the kids sleep with their phone. It is the greatest societal experiment of all time. Our kids are technology geniuses, and their parents are technophobic. Some are techno-impotent. New apps come with no warnings on how a predator will use them against our kids. Advancing technologies like encrypted messaging, vaporware, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and the darknet will challenge law enforcement, teachers, and parents to keep kids safe. Recent research states that 9,000 kids a day are being blackmailed with a naked photo, and 58% will meet their predator. It is indeed a societal shift, and one in which most parents are unprepared. If you are a parent or grandparent, teacher, counselor, or social worker, please take time to read Societal Shift. Only $18.99 plus $6 shipping. Order today at millionkids.org. That's millionkids, millionkids.org. It'll be the greatest gift you can give your family and yourself. Order Societal Shift today. Million Kids takes checks and credit cards. Opal Singleton, the author, will personally sign the book and send it to you. Again, go to millionkids.org and order Societal Shift today. Join Million Kids. Keep our kids safe from predators.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton, and we are talking about why character matters in a digital world. I want to just take a minute for those of you that follow us and give you a little bit of information about Million Kids so you'll understand where we're coming from. Our organization is millionkids.org. Just go to millionkids.org, sign up to receive the information. By the way, while you're there, if you want to donate, we'd certainly appreciate it, but we never put pressure on you. We have very wonderful donors who care deeply about their children and their grandchildren, and they want to make a difference in the future, so they do donate and support our work. So I want to just continue this conversation because why character matters in a digital world is not just some sort of hyperbole, okay? It is the real deal. When I break down the difference between a kid who became violated and changed their life, or a kid who became violated once but reported and stopped it so that they would no longer be violated and also could save others, or those who were made good decisions and were never violated in the first place. The thing I'm going to tell you is there is 100% plus chance that if you are online, you are going to encounter a pedophile. And to ever put a child online without having that discussion is some sort of risk-taking on a parent's part that I can't imagine. You have to know in the world of social media that the minute you go online, you will meet a pedophile. Now, I really want you to think this out. If you're online with, let's say, 1 million followers through TikTok, I guarantee you at least 1% of those people are pedophiles. That means that if you're putting a child on TikTok who is sending out all kinds of videos, who are looking to get attention or be discovered, that they need to have the strength of character to stand against, to recognize the intuitive nature, the cognitive ability to recognize when 10,000 pedophiles start to reply. It'll be one or two, and you think that you're against them, but one of them looks particularly good. And you want to believe, and everything in you wants to believe, but you're 11 years old. You don't have cognitive reasoning. You don't have the maturity of judgment. But that child is still online in a world that, quite frankly, we put them in. And so how do we prepare our kids to be able to evaluate and stand against it? And I deal with this all the time. When a child is exploited online, their life and the life of their family, their mother, their father, their grandmothers, their siblings, are all affected in the most heinous way. And so I look at this and I say, how can I prepare kids so that they can stand against the pedophile? And that's where the discussion about character comes in. One of the things I share with kids is the minute you go online, they, the pedophile, the predator, are going to play a numbers game. If they sign up for your TikTok blast, they're probably signing up for 100, 200 different TikTok video producers. And they will begin to reach out, and they're just playing a numbers game. I share this with kids because the way you stand against a predator is you know who you are and what you stand for. And you decide you're not going to take chances. If you're on there, you know these guys are playing a numbers game. And so you decide this isn't going to be me. I am too good for you. I have value. I have self-esteem. I have self-worth. Take somebody who's easier because I am going to be hard to get. And if you want to sit down with your child and start to have that dialogue, it's important. I think the dialogue starts with writing out your values, writing out your identity. Get your child to sit down. before they go online and say, tell me about yourself. Who are you? Are you a person that's a risk taker? Okay, I mean, there's nothing wrong with being a risk taker, but do you calculate the risk? And do you have enough judgment to say, that might be fun, but that would also ruin my life if that went wrong? Are you a person that is easy to talk to just anybody and you're willing to talk to just anybody? How do you feel about yourself? Do you think you have strong character? Every time you do what's right instead of what's easy, you get character. You learn from your mistakes, yes, but the less mistakes you make, the less it's going to cost you in self-worth. And so as you go through this exercise, I do believe it's important that you have that dialogue with your child to say, I'm going to put you on the World Wide Web. By the way, it is not called the U.S. web with all the rights to privacy. There is no privacy on the internet. It is called World Wide Web. And I want to make sure that you're mature enough to be able to use good judgment if you're given an alternative to make bad judgment. And I'm going to guarantee you within the first hour of being on the internet, you will get offers that are not good offers. So how do we decide who's good and who's bad? The same kind of thing happens because you will be exposed to all kinds of information. The minute you go online, it opens up an entire world of ideas to you. I laugh when I hear all this stuff that is going on about how social media is censoring others for disinformation. The very censoring is disinformation, okay? There is almost no truth left. I'm a researcher by trade. That's how I really got into this whole kind of thing, is I just have an incredible, intense desire to know the truth about a subject and to listen to all sides of it. But when you're 11 years old or 9 years old or 7 years old and people are feeding your child information, what kind of cognitive skill sets do they have to start to begin to evaluate it? You see, if your child gets enamored with a kid down the street at 11 years old, and they start to have visions of holding hands and kissing and all the natural things that come in a relationship between two people, when that starts to happen, when they're alive and seeing that person in person, you can make good judgment, or at least you should be able to make good judgment. We all know many cases where that's gone wrong in divorce and also domestic violence. But we need to teach our kids skills to be able to evaluate what's real and what isn't, and what can bring harm to self and what cannot, and how to not take chances and put yourself in a situation where someone else can exploit you. If you're 11 years old and you're watching the kid down the street, whether it's a male or female, you can kind of get the ideas of what they're like. Do they get drunk? Do they use drugs? Do they take shortcuts? Do they cheat at school? Are they a true friend with their other friends, or are they somebody who takes advantage of? Are they lazy? Are they looking for shortcuts? Are they looking for ways to maybe get money free out of other people? I was, keep in mind out here in California, the unemployment rate is just unbelievable. There are so many people looking, the employment rate, there are so many people trying to hire somebody. And I was at Jack in the Box yesterday with these huge signs where they're desperate to hire. We have businesses closing down because they can't hire staff. And there were 3 teenagers out there begging. And I'm saying all you have to do is take a bath and do 6 feet across the way and you will have a job. They won't even probably test to see if you can read and write, if you can flip a booger. There is no need to be sitting out there begging when you're sitting on a premise that's begging for jobs. You see, that comes down to character, pride of self. Do you want to be somebody and do something with your life? I think the conversation with kids is you get one life, and that's your life. And you get to decide. And every time you take shortcuts, it's going to cost you. But every time you do what's right, you're going to have strength of character. And you can grow up to be somebody that you're proud of and that you feel good of, and not sit around and wait for somebody to take care of you. This is Opal Singleton. I'll be right back.
Custom Service Systems, a proud supporter of Million Kids, is a family-owned and operated commercial cleaning company servicing the Inland Empire and surrounding areas since 1974. CSS takes pride in their ability to maintain the business facilities they serve and their long-lasting relationships with their valued clients. CSS provides a variety of cleaning systems customized to client needs, including deep cleaning and disinfectant to be COVID-19 compliant. From basic office cleaning to windows and floors, CSS will clean up your mess so you don't have to stress. Custom Service Systems cares about families and communities and wants to give back. Custom Service Systems are proud supporters of Million Kids to keep kids safe from predators. If you need the best cleaning services for your business or corporation, contact Custom Service Systems at cssclean.com. Again, cssclean.com, or call 951-781-9345. That's 951-781-9345. You will know you found the best. Custom Service Systems.
Hello, this is Opal Singleton of Exploited Crimes and Technology. Let me tell you about my friend Doris Anderson at Remax Realty in Upland. She is amazing. She's kind, she's patient, but she listens. And she's informed, and she will help you with your real estate transaction in a way that works for you. Doris, in full disclosure, often supports the work of Million Kids because she cares about young people. But she knows how to analyze a market, how to market a property, and how to find just the right transaction for both buyers and sellers. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate or invest in income property, contact Doris Anderson at Remax Realty, 951-733-8899. That's 951-733-8899. 951-733-8899.
This message is all about Million Kids, the organization that helps locate missing kids throughout Southern California and educates to keep kids safe from predators. Million Kids educates school administrators, teachers, parents, and teenagers how predators identify a potential victim and the methods they use to recruit innocent kids. BMW of Riverside is a proud supporter of Million Kids. Visit BMW of Riverside at the Adams Street exit off the 91 freeway or click bmwofriverside.com.
AM 590, The Answer.
Hello and welcome back to Exploited Crimes and Technology. This is Opal Singleton, and we are talking about why character matters in a digital world. Well, while I'm on a roll here, folks, I'm going to just share with you the reason it matters is all too often there is an intersect between the digital world and our kids' sex life. Whether it's just a basic fantasy that they're not acting out, or whether they're actually engaging with someone, or whether they're sending off a naked photo, or maybe they're playing a video game that has a lot of pornography in it. Video game animated character pornography is some of the raunchiest pornography I've ever seen. And if you don't play video games and your child does, I highly recommend that you stop in your tracks and get yourself an avatar. Now, I admit that you're probably going to be pretty lousy at it and you won't have a clue, but take a look at what your child is seeing. You see, when you start to get in the world of digital media, and you get into these online games, what you see is sex is not sex, except sex is everywhere. And there's a reason for that. And it isn't like good, healthy, I'll take care of you, I'll respect you, this is a give and take between two human beings and we will honor you. It is not that kind of sex. It is sex as a weapon. It is sex as a score. It is sex as conquering another human being as opposed to intimacy that takes care of the other person. It is sex without context. And once you start to build hour upon hour in that environment, it is very easy for you to take on that kind of perception of sexuality and what is to be expected. I honestly think that that is why, as I read you with Thorne, that they are saying that 40% of our kids think it's normal for people their age to share nudes. That could only happen because of the world of digital morality and the lack thereof. Because what happens is that they're lured into sharing these photos, but the reality is that shame is not digital. Shame is in your soul. Your reputation is in your soul. Your perceptions by other people, let me get that correct. Other people's perceptions of your sense of value is in your soul. It is not in an online video game. So these worlds are crossing. And I think that, we need to back up and start all over, taking a look at social media and what I call digital morality. Just because it's online does not mean that it's okay to be immoral. And it also means that if you're immoral, that does not suggest that you're not going to pay a price because it's online. You see, we have some fallacy in the logic that is going on there. Our kids are moving this thing in a fast-moving river, going downstream, racing downstream, flooding, saying, if it's online, it doesn't count. In the meantime, it is racing online, and our kids' souls are being exploited. Because when a child sends a naked photo and the blackmail begins, it is forever in most cases. This is why we're making the movie. I want people to understand where naked photos go when you hit send. You see, it isn't the minute that a photo goes online, that person becomes in a blackmail prison. Man, woman, child, it doesn't matter how old you are, what race you are, what sexual preferences you have. The minute a naked photo goes out online, you are in a potential blackmail prison. It may not happen tomorrow. It may be 3 days later, and suddenly that photo appears. And somebody wants something. They usually want more photos. And you're trapped. You have put yourself in a blackmail prison. You have given up your freedom and you have sold your dignity, because shame is a real thing in the soul. And once it comes back to you, this pedophile, this predator, will use shame to entrap you and ensnare you. And the only way out of that prison is to tell someone, hopefully law enforcement, or hopefully a parent if it's in a child, and hopefully those people will listen without deeply embarrassing you. If your child comes to you and says, or if you think your child is involved in sextortion, do not shame them. Do not show the photos to everybody around. Do not wag your finger saying, what the hell were you thinking? Do not do all of that. That child looks around, and they were lured in by a digital world, and they gave up the real life digital morality. And now their soul will pay a price. And it won't be a quick and easy price. Those photos go out into, many of these are child pornography rings. One child pornography ring called Welcome to Video had 1 million paid subscriber. If your child's photo ends up in that website, which it won't because it was shut down, but it tells you there are others out there. But if it did in the past, before it was shut down, it went to 1 million people in nearly the blink of an eye. And that 1 million people then sends it on to others. And there is no way to get it back. And there is no way to stop it. And if this happens when you're 13, as in a recent case with a Twitter lawsuit, he's now 17 and he's trying to go to college. Everybody in his school has seen that photo of him doing his personal thing there. And it's 4 years ago, and everybody's seen it, and now he's applying for schools he can't get in because he has given up his digital character. And we need to have that conversation. Yes, can we have trackers? Can we have filters? Yes, but we need conversations. Our children are going to live in the World Wide Web, in a world without borders and a home without walls. And it has to start at home with character. To talk about what that means, to write out your values, to give yourself an identity, to look at video gaming and what impact does it have on me, to share with your child that they only have one life. And that life will live in a world without borders now. They will. Where we're at today will be child's play as to where we are in 5 years from now. The only way to prepare our children to live in that world of advanced technology, well, everyone will be able to give you input, and more important, will be able to spread your reputation all over the world. The only way to tackle it is sit down and start to talk about the truth with your kids. Talk about who they are and what they stand for and what their values are and what they want to do with the one life they have. Let's make leaders of our children. That is the purpose of our documentary when it comes out, is to make leaders of our children in a digital world so that they can live successfully and happily in a world without borders and a home without walls. My name is Opal Singleton. This show is brought to you by Million Kids. I truly appreciate each and every one of you that write to me and tell me about your life. You can do that at Opal, OPAL, at millionkids.org. If you have someone who's being sextorted or sex trafficked or social media exploitation, call a hotline number. It is 1-888 373-7888. You can also see that number at millionkids.org. Thank you to each and every one of you that donate to support this show and to support our work. We can't do this work without you. We are a small but mighty organization. When I look at that movie and see how God is delivered, I am greatly humbled. You made it happen, folks. Those of you that have donated in the past and are continuing to donate to help us get this movie out when it comes out on February 8th. It is National Safety Internet Day, being done in conjunction with Homeland Security, beyond my wildest dreams. I thank each and every one of you that come alongside of us, that support us financially with your prayers and also with your guidance and your counseling. We so much appreciate you. You can write to me at Opal, OPAL, at millionkids.org. You can donate at millionkids.org. Most important, folks, take some time this week with your kids. Sit and talk to them and let them know how proud you are of them. Have these hard conversations about digital morality and values and character and knowing who you are and what you stand for. Put your arms around your family. Love your husband and your wife. Take good care of your kids. And I'll see you next Saturday at 3 o'clock right here on AM 590, The Answer.
Societal Shift, A World Without Borders and a Home Without Walls. This is the most important book you will read this year, especially if you have children or grandchildren. We are living at the most important time in all of history. In 2020, the entire world will be connected by internet, more than 6 billion people coming together. Technology will provide many great advantages for our kids, but a world without borders for our kids is also a world without borders for pimps, predators, pedophiles, cartels, and organized crime. It is a home without walls because 87% of the kids sleep with their phone. It is the greatest societal experiment of all time. Our kids are technology geniuses, and their parents are technophobic. Some are techno-impotent. New apps come with no warnings on how a predator will use them against our kids. Advancing technologies like encrypted messaging, vaporware, artificial intelligence, cryptocurrency, and the dark net will challenge law enforcement, teachers, and parents to keep kids safe. Recent research states that 9,000 kids a day are being blackmailed with a naked photo, and 58% will meet their predator. It is indeed a societal shift, and one in which most parents are unprepared. If you are a parent or grandparent, teacher, counselor, or social worker, please take time to read Societal Shift. Only $18.99 plus $6 shipping. Order today at millionkids.org. That's millionkids, millionkids.org. It'll be the greatest gift you can give your family and yourself. Order Societal Shift today. Million Kids takes checks and credit cards. Opal Singleton, the author, will personally sign the book and send it to you. Again, go to millionkids.org and order Societal Shift today. Join Million Kids. Keep our kids safe from predators.